the chat room that knew my secrets. Have you ever logged into a place online you thought was dead, only to find out it was waiting for you? That's how it started for me. Just a Tuesday night, nothing special. The kind of night where the city outside my window sounded like it was holding its breath. I live in one of those shoebox apartments, walls so thin you can hear your neighbor sneeze and the radiators wheeze like they're dying. Most nights, I lie there in the glow of my laptop, scrolling until my eyes burn. I'm not ashamed to admit I'm lonely. Loneliness makes you click things you shouldn't. I found it by accident, this old chat room. Looked like something out of the early internet, all gray boxes and clunky fonts, like stumbling into a museum no one cared to curate. The kind of place you assume is empty, abandoned years ago. Its ghosts buried under newer, shinier platforms. I should have clicked away, but boredom is a dangerous thing. I typed in a username, my real name actually, though I don't know why. Just habit, maybe. That's when it happened. The air in the room changed. Don't ask me how I knew, you just feel these things. The laptop screen brightened, not by pixels, but by something else, like the glow was crawling out into the apartment, warming the peeling paint on my walls, touching me. And then a message blinked in the chat. Just one word, welcome. Nobody should have been there. No one at all. Yet the word sat waiting, pulsing like a heartbeat, and for reasons I can't explain, I leaned closer. The chat room wasn't empty. It had been waiting for me. The first reply came instantly. Not just a hello or a username popping into the feed, but a sentence. My childhood address, written out in clean, simple text. I froze. My first instinct was to laugh, because isn't that what you do when something feels wrong? Nervous laughter, the kind that cracks in your throat. Hackers exist. Data leaks. The internet's full of scavengers pulling scraps of your life from old, forgotten places. That's what I told myself. But then came the next message. It described the wallpaper in my childhood bedroom. The little tear in the corner where I punched the wall when I was 12, furious at my father. No photo of that exists. No one else ever saw it. That secret was mine alone. The words blurred on the screen, scrolling faster now, each new line like a knife pressed against my ribs. My first crush's name. The lie I told at my mother's funeral to make myself look stronger. The night I stole $20 from my best friend and swore it wasn't me. All of it, spilling out like someone had been waiting years to unload my sins. My hands trembled on the keyboard. I typed back, the words sharp and desperate. Who are you? How do you know this? The reply came so quickly it felt rehearsed. Turn around. Every hair on my arm stood up. The hum of the radiator became a roar. I didn't move, couldn't. My eyes locked on those two words until they pulsed in my vision. The apartment felt tighter, smaller. I swear I heard breathing that wasn't mine. A soft, steady rhythm just over my shoulder. My heart tried to match it, stumbling, losing pace. I slammed the laptop shut. Darkness swallowed the room, but it didn't comfort me, it suffocated. I sat there, rigid, listening to the silence. That's when the typing started again. The laptop was closed, yet the keystrokes clattered from inside it, furious, like fingers hammering in a locked coffin. And somehow, under the noise, I knew the chat room hadn't disappeared. It was still talking, waiting. The room was silent, except for the thud of my heart hammering against my ribs like it wanted out. My hands hovered above the keyboard, trembling, slick with sweat. The laptop was still closed, but light bled from its edges, thin and hungry, casting shapes onto the walls that shouldn't have been there. The glow shifted the shadows, lengthened them. One grew taller, wider, bending at impossible angles, its edges sharp like broken glass. I couldn't stop staring at it. Shadows aren't supposed to move when you hold still. But this one pulsed, stretched, as though it were testing the limits of the wall that contained it. I lunged for the cord, ripped the plug from the socket. Sparks snapped. The light should have died with the machine, but it didn't. The glow swelled, bright and unnatural, filling every corner of the room with a sickly radiance, throwing that warped figure against the peeling paint. Something was in here with me. Every instinct screamed to run, but my body locked in place, caught between choices that weren't really choices at all. Either turn and face it, or stay frozen and let it swallow me from behind. My throat tightened, my pulse roared in my ears. The figure twitched as if aware of my hesitation. The air pressed heavier, and then, God help me, I heard a whisper. Not from the laptop, from the dark. You can't hide from yourself. That voice, it wasn't a stranger's, it was mine. Lower, rougher, like a recording of me dragged through static. I forced myself to turn, and there it was, standing just beyond reach, its face smeared like wet paint, but its outline unmistakable. It was me. Same slump of shoulders, same trembling hands, only its eyes were nothing but hollow sockets glowing from the inside. The glow flared again, and the thing stepped closer. A choice clawed at me. Do I fight it, this impossible version of myself, or let it take me, merge with me, whatever it wanted? I opened my mouth to scream, to resist, but the figure leaned forward, lips splitting into a jagged grin. And before I could move, it whispered the one secret I'd never admitted aloud. Words that shattered me, words no one should know. The monitor died with a hollow pop, and the glow vanished like someone snuffed out the sun. My apartment dropped into black so complete I couldn't see my hands in front of me. Only my breathing filled the space. Ragged, uneven, too loud. Like someone else's lungs were working beside me. I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. I sat until dawn leaked gray through the blinds, watching the shape of the room settle back into its shabby normal. The radiator hissed. The pipes groaned, but nothing else moved. By daylight, I almost convinced myself it hadn't happened. Almost. For weeks after, I avoided the laptop like it was radioactive. It sat on my desk, closed, collecting dust. I told myself I'd get rid of it, but I never did. Cowardice or curiosity, maybe both, kept me tethered. My friends noticed the change. At work, they told me I looked pale, sick, like I hadn't slept in days. They were right, I hadn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that warped grin, those hollow eyes, the twisted version of myself stepping out of the light. But I told them nothing. How do you explain something you don't understand? How do you admit the thing haunting you is you? The city kept moving on around me. Crowded trains, buzzing neon signs, people shouting into phones. Life didn't care if I was unraveling. That somehow made it worse. Like I was the only one who'd slipped through a crack in the world, and everyone else was too busy to notice. Nights were the hardest. That's when the silence pressed in, when the shadows seemed to breathe again. Sometimes, I'd glance at the corner of my room and swear the screen flickered, just once. A single blink of light, but the laptop was still unplugged. I told myself it was just a trick of the eye, exhaustion, a brain short-circuiting from fear. Yet each time the flicker lasted a fraction longer, bright enough to paint the wall in that familiar, sickly glow. And every time it happened, I braced for the sound, the furious clatter of keys, the whisper that wasn't quite mine. The sound hasn't come back. Not yet, but the silence feels like it's waiting. I tell myself it could have been a prank, just code stitched together by some bored genius who knew too much about me. Maybe the internet really does remember everything, and that night, it decided to spit my sins back into my face. But deep down, I know better. That wasn't code. Code doesn't whisper in your own voice. Code doesn't stretch itself into the shape of your body and grin at you with your own teeth. Something else crawled through the wires that night, and it wore me like a mask. I've changed since then. Not in the way you'd hope. I'm more careful with what I click, sure, but carefulness doesn't erase the paranoia. I live with it now, the same way you live with a leaky faucet or the sound of mice in the walls. It's always there, dripping in the back of my mind. I still haven't logged back in. The laptop sits in the corner of the room like a corpse no one has the courage to bury. Some nights, I feel its weight, like it's watching me even when it's closed, even when I've unplugged it. Maybe it's still waiting. Maybe it's not finished with me yet. And if it's not finished with me, maybe it's looking for someone else. So if you ever stumble across a forgotten chat room, the kind that looks dusty and abandoned, and someone inside types your name, don't answer. Don't type back. Because some doors online aren't meant to be opened. Some doors don't close once they swing wide. And trust me, whatever's waiting on the other side doesn't want to chat. If this story gripped you tonight, do me a favor, hit that like button. It helps the channel grow and gets these stories out to more people. Make sure you subscribe for daily content and share this with someone who loves a good scare, or maybe someone who spends a little too much time online. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening. There's another video waiting for you on the screen right now. Click it if you dare, And I'll see you back here tomorrow, if the chat room lets me.